So it's fairly obvious that this path is just heading straight down by the field, but not into the field. If you have a look, you can see where we are now relative to the trees over there. So you've got the gate. The oak gate must be somewhere sort of along there. You've got the ivy highway, which must be sort of somewhere, whoops, which must be, where are we? Somewhere, you know, close to this side. You've got a high road that we haven't checked, which is going in that direction towards Lido, and then you've got this one which is heading down. Now, if I'm right, if my calculations are right, this one should run smack bang into what I think I can already hear, which could be the ring road. You see, the ring road starts near Lido, just beyond Lido, and it runs around the outside, and at some point it cuts through these woods. That is a road at that point which we must cross, and I don't know how that's going to happen. So I think I'm going to go along here until it meets that road, and then I may just I'll have to decide then what I'm going to do, because I could go on and explore beyond, but I don't think that I'm going to get all the way from here all the way back to the showground today. I think this is more than a one afternoon's trip, and of course the closest bus is back this way beyond Lido, so it makes sense when I've felt that I've gone far enough to come back and just to investigate the path that I think heads to the Ivy highway path that leads to Lido higher up, because that just makes sense on the way back. That way I've covered everything, at least as far as wherever I stop in this direction. Yes, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to call this field side, and I found something very interesting, and this is presumably where you would enter if you had come out of the oak the gate near the oak. So it should be directly on the other side there, whereas you see Ivy, the Ivy highway entrance into the field is somewhere at the top there. I have to say, I think this is a much better route, because it's all the way through trees rather than just across a field, so I don't see the point in that. So I think we have done exceptionally well here in cutting out that little bit there, and we're now here, and it's time to head on in this direction. So on the basis of what I said to you earlier about missing important things, I follow this route, and basically I'm going to call it the Rubble Run, because it's full of broken bits of trees and stuff, and it runs directly alongside the bypass. I don't know where it comes out, but we're just turning now. We're just turning to head back towards Lido, I think. Yes, we've just suddenly turned as I said that to you. What might be interesting is that if we could follow this out to Lido and then walk the other end of the Ivy highway back, then we could come back and then go all the way to Calcutt and come back sort of like a figure of 8, basically. Which would be interesting, wouldn't it? So Just going to have a wander, meander. Thing is, you see, I write down on my maps all the X's that we then have to follow up, which is sort of where we're beginning to get to now in our to the ends of the earth project, because I'm beginning to complete bits of the puzzle in the round route around Harrogate that passes through all these areas. And eventually, once all the little bits are tied up, that will be it, until we can go further afield, which is good timing really, because hopefully next year I'll be able to have personal transport that will enable me to do that. And of course by then I'd rather like to have this finished. And we're back on the Ivy Highway. How do I know? Because look, there's another stump. I know it looks identical, but it's not. It's a different field on the opposite side of the little peninsula, the Birkenwoods Peninsula. So we were over there, and the field on that side. We walked all the way down to the ring road, and then we walked all the way back down this way to get to the field on the other side. This is the road that connects it. What we don't know still is where it comes out, and I'm going to follow this now, but I suspect it's just higher up in Lido. Must be. Lido must be the other side of this field. So, and of course right down at the bottom down there is the path that we walked along originally to come up. Et voila, coming out higher up in Lido. The entrance, the normal entrance that we have, is on the other side of those trees, so it's just sort of down there a bit. But at least we know. Now, back this way, back down, and we're going to try and do the Calcutt connection. So the other track doesn't lead to Calcutt at all. I'm going to call it the Harrogate fault line because there's loads of cracks on the floor, and basically it just leads here to a gate, to a road, and the road has not strayed far from the bypass, which is just where that giveaway sign is. I'm going to have a look to see around the corner because I don't really fancy traipsing all the way back. It's a bit narrow, but I'm not going to do that much urban walking either, so it's no pleasing some people.